In this movie, we will begin discussing the process of using if-else statements to perform conditional programming structures in the Visual Basic program. You will use if-else statements to make decisions within the programming logic. The single most important thing to remember about using if statements is that the decisions that you, the programmer, create must be phrased in such a manner so as they can be answered either true or false. If the condition is evaluated to be true, then only the statements after the then clause are executed. If the statement is considered to be false, then only the instructions that are placed immediately after the else clause is executed. The else clause is optional. That is, you can have an if statement without an else statement or else clause as part of the if-else structure. The entire if-else structure will conclude with the end-if statement. This is a look at the general form of the if-then-else statement, where you will have an if statement, the word if, followed by a condition. As stated before, the condition must be phrased so it can be answered either true or false. On that same line will be the word then. Immediately after that, on the very next line, you will have your statement or group of statements that you want to be performed only if that condition is evaluated to be true. As an option, note the brackets around the else statements. You may include an else, and what else means is that the condition that's being evaluated in the if statement is false. So if that condition is false, then you place whatever statements you want executed in the false condition immediately below the word else. And finally, the entire structure is concluded with the words end if. Note, even in this general form notation, it is suggested that you indent the statements that are to be executed in either the true condition or the false condition. That is, the words if, else, and end if should all be aligned, and then the statements that belong to each clause will be indented. This simply helps the readability of the program, and in fact, in the Visual Studio environment, this will happen automatically, but you should be aware of it. A few final notes. When entering if statements, the Visual Basic Editor will automatically add the words then and end if. You then may type or copy and paste code into the appropriate sections after the if-then statement. If an else clause is required, then you will need to manually type the word else in the appropriate spot, in between the if and the end if statement. We'll be looking at examples of these if-then statements in programs as we proceed.